I was just watching All in the Family the other day with my dear Pappy.
As you do.
It's not really true, but we were thinking about that, and this is another thing that we were thinking about after walking around NAMM for a bit. Like we were running into people. Well, it all happened when we ran into Sammy Ash.
Sammy Ash.
And it sort of triggered our brains a bit. And we're like, and he's a fan of the channel, which
is kind of crazy.
I think he needs to get better advice.
I felt like he was like a force. Like he's so energetic.
He was energetic.
Like, hey,
really nice.
In a good way. Yeah, it was awesome.
And we're thinking about other like Martin and Chris Martin, like he's sitting there at NAMM like at his booth, which is really impressive, and he's retiring, and there's a new CEO coming on that we didn't get to meet this NAMM. It's another story, another video. Watch that one later.
Yes.
But now it's and then we thought about some of the other companies that aren't so sweet and touchy and feely, and then you jump over to sort of like Guitar Center is sort of like an opposite, and then when you look at Martin, you might see like the years and woes of what happened with Gibson,
right?
Even some of the Fender problems, like
yeah,
not being a family-run business.
Yes, and
like there's pros and cons that come with it both, but there's definitely something amazing.
Yeah,
amazing to see like this business has been run. I'm talking about Sam Ash. Let's talk about Sam Ash for a minute. It's been run by like that family since the beginning.
That's it. Yeah.
And what do you think? I'm going to jump into what I think the key is, but do you have any ideas on like the difference in the guts behind that?
I mean, I think it was when it's your family business. You've got these people who are invested in seeing this thing continue. It's your legacy. You don't just care about the bottom line. You care about what people think about you and how they perceive you doing business. Is what I feel like I see in some of these great family-owned companies.
I think that's a great point too, and it also, I mean, if you jump over to Martin, is like you see like generations of people working there.
Yes.
That don't own it, but like grandmother, granddaughter,
right,
and like daughter, all in the mix, working the floor, and then you see sales team people that have been there for 25 years, 30 years, their whole career at one place. I don't see it as much at some of the other companies.
So do you think that sort of from the top down it breeds that when it's a family-owned business?
I think the answer is in private equity. I think that is the death and the stabation, murder, killing of a lot of the guts of these businesses.
Right.
It happens. It's happened with what we've seen with Guitar Center, 100%, where like that has become not really a business to sell guitars anymore. And the people that work there are wonderful. It's the behind the scenes, it's the financials, and it's a debt servicing instrument now. It's not a business to sell guitars, it's a business to service its debt, to pay its investors, to further down the road of just corruption and yuckiness. It lost its mission. Whereas Sam Ash is still, they're not nearly as big as Guitar Center. No. They don't have the debt structure that Guitar Center has either. So you have to sort of weigh these things, and do you have 250 stores, and what is your debts, and yada, 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 boring number of things. My son goes blah, blah, blah whenever I start talking in this way. And he's 26 now. I'm just kidding. That'd be funny. So, bam, I just punch him in the face. 26-year-old kid said blah, blah, blah. Whack! No, it's just neat to see, like, when I saw Chris Martin, and then you see Sam Ash, and you think of these guys, and like even like thinking back to Leo Fender with Fender, and then when he sells it at CVS, and you think of him with G&L, and the people we've met that have worked under him, they're like the magical stories I've heard about, how he really lived and breathed and took care of his people. And Paul Reed Smith, that's another huge one. I can't believe we didn't mention that in the beginning, but he still walks around.
Right.
He'll tweak things on the production floor. It's not just a sales game there. It's there's a team for that, and that's their job. That's their sole purpose for existing in the PRS empire. But Paul's job is to spiritually lead and creatively and engineeringly lead this team into the foreseeable future. And
he does. He still does.
Until there is no more Paul, then what happens? That's a whole.
That's the whole other topic.
I know, because
for another video, perhaps.
I wanted because there's nobody to take over for him. So it's like, as far as like a direct lineage, and this is the first time in Martin's sort of history that they're having a non-family. Well, not the first. There's been sort of moments where there's people that sort of step in and help transition. I still have faith in Chris's daughter will be the next successor, or whoever she marries will have to take her name.
Yeah, that's fine.
which I've seen happen, and I'm okay with that too. It's pretty awesome. It's one great wedding I went to. Like the guy took the wife's name because it was the last of her family's name, if not. And he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm cool with that." And their name was great too. It was a cool Scottish name.
It's got to be a cool name.
And he was a really cool guy, and really cool family too.
So there you go.
Love those guys. Anyway, so if you're marrying the Martins, just prepare to change your last name. It's like marrying a Cobain.
No big
If
deal.
you're marrying like Nirvana's daughter, I think you need to change your last name to Cobain,
It's probably true.
right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yes.
Like or a Hendrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so I think the answer is private equity.
Private equity.
Which is not the destroyer that it turned out to be with GC. It can actually be great. It can infuse capital, and the idea is to bring experts to the table in the fold to make the business grow at a faster rate. What happened there was the exact opposite. And then Gibson sort of got crushed in its own little transferences of power. Then, and Henry was not, like, we've all talked trash on Gibson, all of us have before, like as far as like their troubles, but he brought that company back too.
Yeah.
Like he did great, and then he just like kind of lost his way toward the end. But that's understandable with everything that was happening in his own personal life to this just doing it for so long.
I didn't even know some of that stuff that, the personal things that were going on in Henry's life. So.
Well, yeah, all these people that run these companies, we forget are people.
Our people.
Right? It's like we talk
You
about
see them as this like monolith of this horrible, force that's evil or whatever, and that's just not the case.
for most
easy to
companies,
forget.
just for a couple there, then it is
Well,
true.
it's true.
There's the nefarious people behind the scenes that are like operating. It's like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, but worse.
Right.
Another movie I've referenced before, but just a great movie.
But I mean, even from what we heard at Gibson this time, it seems like they want to recapture that spirit of being this iconic brand that is a family that pushes forward into the future. I mean, that's what I felt just listening to JC talk and just the vibe at the Gibson garage.
And I've heard a lot of these guys talk before now.
Right.
I feel like we're old hats in some ways. We've been hearing the same. And you'll hear like even JC, it was a great speech. He was like, pumped and excited. I ignore that though in general.
Right.
So I hear it and so we talked to a bunch of the guys at Gibson, and they all seemed generally excited to be there.
Yes.
Which was not the case a few years ago.
No.
5 years ago, different story entirely. Like they didn't know if they'd have a job.
Sure.
6 months later.
Right.
People would be moving cross country and they might get fired. Like, or you get demoted to like, you're going to be in charge of like the Atlantis department. It's under the ocean and you have to take a sub to work every day. I mean, literally they did like things that were insane to people. Like that's like, the heads of the custom shop seeing like really cool cats.
Yep.
They're young. They're excited about their
Yep.
job. They knew their stuff, which is key.
It is
And they're
key.
allowed to do their job. And so hopefully that's like one of those cases of like, it's corporate owned, that one. It's not them, but they're coming back.
Sure.
But hats off these guys that have remained family owned for this entire time. It's amazing to me.
Yeah.
It's that's like, because I never thought about Sam Ash like that. My brain like goes to Guitar Center, and then I was like, wait a minute.
It's easy to not see them that way, right? Just see them as another big box store, but I don't know if that's
So
the case.
if you have a local Sam Ash, go check it out. Like, hey, if the Guitar Center's right across the street, make a left instead of a right. If you're in Capitol Boulevard, go check it out. If you're like, in another great city where those two are usually, it's like the two drugstores. They're right across the street usually from each other.
I like to think of them as Home Depot and Lowe's.
Or like, or like Dwayne Reed and like
Right.
Walgreens or something.
There you go.
It's I never understood that. It's like, why would you open one right across the street? Dwayne Reed, Walgreens. And then one will inevitably go out of business and it becomes like a church or a med spa or something. I'm still getting used to these spinny chairs. These are awesome.
I know. I just want to spin.
I feel so casual now. I just like we can just do this
So
and
comfy.
back to back, and
I wonder if our videos will get longer.
because we're more comfy.
Yeah, because we're just like,
I mean, Derek wanted to have bowls put in the seats, but that's for his own personal reasons.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not going to do that. Don't worry. But then go up and down too, which is really exciting. We'll do that later.
we will do it.
No, it's So check out these businesses. Like look into them yourselves a little bit and let us know your thoughts and your feelings and I think it's pretty amazing that to be able to survive in this ethosphere economic universe of world connectivity as still a family-run business.
It is.
And like we can jump all the way down even to like our favorite guitar sellers.
It's true.
Like from Peach and Andertons and Wildwood and Will Cuts and just you like you go up to the Musicland store, and then Sims, because it's named after their name. They just I saw those guys at AM too. It was awesome to see. I only saw the son. I didn't see the dad.
There you go.
But I met his new wife. They've been married for a while, but I think they're having a baby.
I heard that might be the case.
I know. Let's not say it, because I don't know if they're announcing it, so don't say it publicly.
Nothing.
But I was excited. No, but that's what I like. That I mentioned that because that way that business stays in the family.
Yeah.
You know, like the kid has no choice now. You're like sort of like Prince William. You don't get to go do another job. We won't get into the Prince Harry debacles, but Prince William, you're sort of stuck in that, and I support it. If you're noble, you got to stay noble. So weird.
Yeah.
So weird that thing exists. I love it. I think it's cool. I mean, you would be kind of like the nobility of your town.
Yeah. That's why one day I have to leave you and go be a chicken farmer.
I mean, so from where Jonathan's from, being a chicken farmer is royalty.
I mean,
and yeah, they make a lot of money,
it's very important
But you smell like chicken poop.
all the time.
But you're wealthy, but chicken poop. So there's this like weird.
It's a trade-off.
One day you will be the chicken
Give
poop
and take.
king.
Give and take.
I highly recommend it. Let us know your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, your queries, your kimonos, anything you want to think of with a start of a k sound. I'm out of here. Take us home.
So, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you don't miss videos in the future. Thanks for hanging out with us. I would like to know if you enjoy our new spinny chairs or if we should go back to our uncomfortable stools. Put that in the comments. We'll see you next time.